It is beer number 6.
Yes, rapid review number 6.
In a keg.
Yes, it is in the keg.
Benny made it.
Yes, so this is Benny Lugg's beer. Benny's a brewer from Common Ground in Brisbane at Milton Common. Where is it? It's Milton. It is Milton.
Yeah, That's a giveaway.
A bit of an obvious one there. This is his dark lager.
It is. I think it's a 4.6%.
4.6. So can you explain what a dark lager is, please?
So specifically, it's a Schwartz beer. Schwartz meaning black, and beer meaning beer. But it's a black lager. Now, earlier on today, we wanted to have this beer first up because it's a less malty, cleaner profile lager than a Dunkel. So both are German style, but there's quite a noticeable difference really. Very black, really dark. Not much left of mine, so I can't show you that. But it's pretty dark. Yeah, that's really dark in there. And Andrew's just finishing it off, making sure. That tastes very dark.
Yeah, it tastes quite nice.
You can't even see through it.
It's got the acidity to it as well.
It's got that acidity. It's got darkness, and it's quite clean. You know, you really tell the difference between the ale and lager, and even between the Dunkel and this, because it doesn't have the same level of sweetness.
So the question I was going to ask in that case is, trying this, the acidity is a little higher, which I don't generally like, but this is actually not too bad because the alcohol level and the flavour level is meant to be a little bit lighter, more sessionable.
Yeah.
But when it comes to dark beers, the dark beers I thought came from the roasted malts or the roasted barley to get that flavour into it. So I don't get any real toasty notes in this one, or anything else like that.
Then partly could be to do with the yeast as well. So the yeast that's in this, I think Benny told me he uses a Swiss lager yeast in this. And so when you make a lager, the yeast that you use operates at a much colder temperature, and it chews away at the sugars at a lower temperature. It doesn't throw off as much of the richer, fruitier flavours in the process of doing that. So, you know, yeast makes a really big difference. And then lagers are also, the name lager literally means storage. So a beer that's got a lager should have been stored at a very cold temperature for, the classic Pilsner Urquell, I think, is 12 weeks. So it's stored for a long period, and that cold storage period actually helps all those flavours settle down a bit and gives you that very clean, super sessionable.
So would that be more tempered for like kind of Australian climates? Like it seems to be what we more gravitate towards, like generally speaking, like cold lagers.
Yeah, I think arguably, that's what's considered better. The irony being, of course, it's harder to brew it because you've got to have cold temperatures to brew. So you're having to pump up the electricity to keep the temperatures cold.
So when you talk about lager, this is what confused me for a while. Well, we drink vintage ales, we drink lambics, we drink all those, and now old beers, but lager with the actual term being stored. I always assumed lager was meant to be drunk fresh, young, and straight out like a fresh style beer. But now you're telling me that it's one that should be on storage for 3 months before getting into the bottle.
Yeah, but the ultimate fast, the quickest beer to get to a keg, I think would be a wheat beer. You can get them like in 7 days, or an English mild. So the reason the mild was called a mild is literally because it hadn't been stored at all. Once it's stored, it would become stale. That doesn't mean what we mean is stale. Stale was an aging process. So you pay more for a stale beer because it's been stored for longer, but that aging process is supposed to improve the beer. Whereas mild would have a really high sweetness because almost the fermentation hadn't finished. Those are the quick serve beers. Lagers actually, they need a bit of storage, but also that colder temperature operating yeast means that you can brew in those colder climates. Pre-refrigeration. And then the really weird thing is, of course, that the derivation of lager yeast is believed. They've traced the derivation to the 14th century Patagonia. Don't know how it got to Germany.
So from the bottom end of Chile, it's got to Germany.
It got to Germany at some point, they think, in the think the 14th century.
What the hell was?
No, I'm not saying people were brewing with it, but,
No, but who
they
came back
traced
from
it back
Patagonia
there. Yeah,
in the
so
14th century?
somehow or other it's got from Patagonia to Europe, and then it's.
Well, that's when Noah discovered the New World, wasn't it? Like, it was around the 12th century.
No,
12th
12th,
century.
no, well past that.
No, that's 15th. Late
That was
late
the-
15th would be the.
1492 is when they.
And even then, they
started
certainly
discovering
weren't knocking into Patagonia.
Yeah.
So, but that's written history. That's what we're told. Who knows? Who knows what happened with canoes and all sorts of things. So, yeah, I think we might be wandering off topic a bit.
I think we are. Anyway, so that was
I'll
the
see you
review. We'll be back again.